Hi, and welcome to the Data Strategy Gurus podcast. Today we have Roman Gebhardt, the founder and chief artificial intelligence officer of Cyanite. Without any dangers around, I invited Roman because he's into data, he's into analytics, but he's also into music. So we got a great connection to discuss. Roman, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Roman, can you explain me a bit, first and for all, what you are doing at the Cyanite as a Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer and how your product helps cataloging your music catalog?
Yeah, sure. So what we are doing at Cyanite is offering solutions for music tagging, categorization, and also search. So basically, we offer solutions for individuals, but mostly companies to have their catalogs tagged with metadata, also create embeddings for search experience. And we help anyone that has a large music catalog for the music to be found, because there's a lot of companies around that have catalogs of like millions of tracks, and it's hard sometimes if you have so much to actually get a grasp on it, what you actually have. And usually if it's just a human that tries to find music within there, can be quite challenging because you just have the peak of the iceberg that you already always have in the mind, but you have so much more that you do not have even your lifetime to listen through it. And what we basically do is that we offer solutions for all of your music to be potentially found, which is fitting to the use case that you have.
So yeah, that means that you can find the hidden gems even, well, normally if you buy some record, either you go to the vinyl shop or to the music shop. Well, so it was in the past. Now you go onto Spotify or iTunes to find your music, Deezer, whatever digital platform is out there. And that's where you help in suggesting something that is to my taste based upon my previous listening behavior, or how does that work?
Yeah, so mostly we are actually B2B focused. So the usual case, which I would first cover before I go to also the potential B2C use case, would be that you can imagine some kind of production music library, which is basically holding something like stock music, where some customer comes and they would be, for instance, looking for a fitting music track for a advertisement video that they are doing or for a movie that they are doing. And they have some specific scene in mind that they want to represent. Usually you have something like a board of like this should sound like this or this or this. And then you go to the website and it's kind of hard because you have a million tracks that are somehow tagged maybe by humans with rock, uplifting, whatever. But what does that mean to you? How does it fit? What we offer then is different solutions for customers to search in in a variety of approaches. Where you can, if you already have a song in mind, for instance, upload this track and do a direct audio similarity search. So this is entirely focused on the audio without any metadata tagging. It's really that the AI understands what is the content of the audio and what is similar tracks that are in this library. Often you might have something in mind that you would feel that fits perfectly, but you cannot license it because it's very expensive if it's from a bigger artist. And then you would look for something that has this kind of character as well. By means of audio. What we, however, also offer is a prompt-based search, where you could, for instance, have your film scene in mind. Let's say a man is walking through New York at night. There's a thunderstorm going on, and yeah, it's a desolate environment somehow, and that is something that you cannot directly search music for usually. And what we offer is to actually have an AI that would understand this kind of the content, the semantic content of this sentence, and be able to map it to the music. and by that offering to approach your music catalog through any kind of description. Of course, if you have music in mind, you can also type in music descriptions. That would be the most easy approach. But you can basically describe any kind of thing that you imagine.
Oh yeah, now I completely understand where you say we have the stock music and then, excuse me, relating that to a certain theme or topic. And I can imagine if you have to imagine yourself all the categories, the tags, and the topics where you would relate the music to, that's pretty hard for a human being, and it takes an enormous time to tag that and in such a way get some more insane music scenery. If I understand, if you're shooting a music. But you're running as well a production company. I mean, a music production company. You're a label owner based in Berlin, if I understood well. So there comes the music from. And are you using that for your own catalogs, or how does it work?
Yes, it's a funny coincidence. In fact, I'm working in music in both of these fields, like in the AI field and in the publishing field. I mean, the label I have there is quite small, and we're doing more the underground music. We are also releasing on vinyl, so we are actually having this haptic thing, and our catalog is therefore not really large. What I use it for, though, is I do actually sometimes browse some music. If I like something, I use our similarity search on a large catalog. And there I sometimes found quite nice music for the purpose of DJing. That is quite a nice digital helper for digging tracks. So that would be something that you could also imagine just a B2C case where someone is interested, and you can check it on their website. Also, we offer all our search algorithms a limited amount of a Spotify catalog. It's like not the full Spotify catalog, of course, but we have a subset of that on which we can present our searches on. And if anyone is interested, you can log into our website and try that also on music that you might know already. You also have the option, if you have a large catalog, to upload it to our platform and to make your own catalog searchable through that.
Wow, let me put that to the test. I mean, I have a huge catalog as well, digitized. I still recall about 20 years ago, I went through all my vinyls and created those marvelous playlists, digitized everything into MP3s. At those days, to have the digital counterpart, now it's going to Spotify and finding the playlist and putting that together. So it would be fun to understand what are the hidden gems into my catalog and how do they relate to some other music, because that was the biggest pain. Like you say, it was underground. I'm a kid from the 90s music, the new beat in Belgium, which was a very broad music scene in Belgium. And at those days, well, the new beat became a bit more commercialized, so it was hard to find the real, what I call quality music, because a lot of people still love that commercial music, but it was a hard time finding those special gems. And luckily, we had a record store where the owner of the record store was so smart. I mean, he says, okay, you need to listen to this record. This is especially for you. And this one is for you. This one is for you. So this was my created algorithm, if you can call it like that. So there's still a lot of nice gems in my basement on 12 inches and so on. So yeah, looking forward to play around with the algorithms. If you say they're available on the website, are they for free available? Is it open source?
It is not open source. You can log in to the website and you have a limited amount of analysis, I think. So it is not possible to upload 100,000 tracks for free and get them analyzed, for sure. But I think we have around 100 tracks a month, I think, that you can put. And then for each of the track, you get the ability to get the tracks searchable, which is within 100, not immense, because within 100 tracks, it's quite easy already for a human to find it. But what you also get is the full also metadata that is automatically tagged to the music. This is something that we also offer, that we tag the music with a genre, the mood, the musical character, the rhythmic features, a BPM of key, of course, like the very classic stuff that would also be in any DJ software. And we also do offer visualizations for the movement of the emotions through the track, which can be quite insightful. This is something that I also think for producers can be quite nice to see how actually their track looks like if you tear it down into data.
The movement of the emotions, that really triggers me because, well, I'm not so hard into the real music theory, but I know, I mean, you have the 4/4 beats and then you repeat that. And typically in techno music, you have the drop, and that's where you put these things in place that they work. But using your algorithms, you could optimize to energize a room if you're DJing, for example, or not only DJing, if you're into a certain scene in a restaurant, whatever, that's where it could help. In a film where you have to build up the tension, the excitement, that's how you could optimize the music that is available instead of having people that are already so long and experienced in the field to match the music towards the type of environment what you want to create then.
Exactly. So basically how you can use this is to do something like, you could imagine it like building every DJ mix based on this, so that you have a seamless flow in terms of the build-ups and the dynamics that the music has, but of course also in terms of playlisting, or basically in a shop or in a movie, what fits and which position. Also something that we offer to match songs to playlists and to put them in the right position. Could be used for any case, for anyone that is interested in finding the right cue. For instance, are recording a DJ mix and you have the tracks that you want to play. How do I organize them? It's kind of the art, of course, of DJing, but it's something that you can definitely get some help for it with this.
Yeah, definitely. It's like you say, you tag as well the BPMs, the key. That's how you mix and optimize, because you know that the blending of the music is so much better. But then again, it's a huge transformation where I see that people are doing, that are related to music, doing something with music that helps them improve thanks to the algorithms what you built.
Excuse me, I didn't understand that question.
So, thanks to the algorithms and all the extra information, like the emotions, like the build-up of the song, and you can relate that to other things. Is that an augmentation of how we human beings work with algorithms and music in this specific use case?
I think it depends on the person in terms of an artistic use of this, but for sure it's something that is mostly very valuable for customers that have a big catalog, like labels, like distributions, like production music libraries, which just need to have some information about their music to get some statistics, but also to make it accessible through their search. I mean, I described in the beginning of this call the more advanced approach of this prompt-based search that we also offer, where you just add a free text, which is quite new due to large language models available now, which we utilize for that. But it hasn't been the case for a long time. And the classical approach of people finding music would still be through categories. And you just say, I want to look for a rock track and I want to look for a, I don't know, new beat track, for instance. What do you have on the website? In the production music website, probably 3 tracks of new beat, which are weirdly produced. not to attack production music too much, but I guess it's kind of a different approach towards music. And then, of course, this is more, I think tagging is more something that makes music accessible, rather than something that is used for understanding music when you have it. I think when you have a music collection for yourself, then you usually know as a customer what is it. It can, however, be interesting, I think, especially if you produce it yourself, how is it perceived? Because then you will have a specific feeling towards it, because you might have done it in a situation that you felt like this and this music expressed this for you. But of course, music is ambiguous in terms of how it is perceived. And then you kind of get a more, I think this is also the strength of algorithms, that it tries to really objectivize music. Like the emotion, for instance, which can be really different from person to person. What does it mean to you? And I think there it gives quite an interesting and insightful information to you.
Yeah, I understand what you say by bringing that emotion in. I was thinking and relating to the times that I did a radio show, and early in the morning you always had to play soft music in those days. And I felt like, hey, I'm waking up. I want to play AC/DC because it feels like this is matching. I want to bring in some dance music because I want to be energized to get up in the day. And I got some remark from the station manager where they say, hey, this is not the type of music you have to play. It was always playing with the energy that I felt was resonating with the audience in such a way. It's something undescribable where you try to connect to the energy. It's like when you're DJing, you're trying to connect with the energy in the room and then build up. And it's something untangible where you say this record will work and I can try this, and you just watch the audience move, and based upon that you feel the feedback if they're resonating with the music you're playing and how you are playing, and that's how you can transform and optimize and really bring in the energy and get a crowd going. And I think especially where you say if you have these extra parameters or metadata available in your production catalog, that you can bring a very nice engagement and experience in whatever you're doing with the music around that in such a way. Where do you think this will go in the future even further? You say you now have the algorithms that help you catalog and support people selecting music for specific productions?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest steps right now has been this ability to really use the large language models, which have a understanding of text very well, and to match it to other media. And basically, this is, I think, the thing that is happening in present now to build up this in the timeline from where are we now, where are we going. I think the advancement that we did within the last 2 years is definitely to go away from this strict taxonomy and the fixed classes. You have this genre and you have this genre and you have this genre, and then you have 24 classes for mood, but that doesn't really describe the whole field of music, and it's somehow not really dynamic. It's kind of this is this and this is this and this is this, but that's not really how it works. We are moving in a way more continuous space here in terms of music, and I think this is something that is not right now especially exciting for me, to actually make music accessible through text, how you describe it, and that loosens you from certain descriptions or tags that someone else made up for music that you have to use to find your music or categorize it. And I think this is already a very big step to connect text and music. And this, however, if you ask me where it's going to the future, of course, we are not limited to have to learn the connection between text and music. We can also apply this to other forms of media. So I think the future will really be to have this general music intelligence, which sees a picture or sees a movie scene and directly recommends the music to it. So that basically, if you are doing a film, you do not even have to describe the film scene. You just put in the film scene and you directly get the right music for it. This is something I think to expand this idea to other forms of media is going to be very, very big.
Yeah, wow. That sounds really amazing that you don't even have to select these numbers. And sometimes if I'm watching a movie, I'm surprised to which numbers or songs they are able to pull up and connect that to the scenes. So I'm curious on which kind of strange combinations we will hear and see in the future, where you say we connect the large language models to the cataloging of all the music in such a place. And I was thinking as well outside the box, because like you say, categorizing is putting it in a certain box based upon what people think fits into that box. And that's typical in the music industry, where you see, hey, this needs to be rock, this is grunge music, this is techno music, this is deep house, this is house. And they have all the subcategories, but it doesn't always fit into that category. And sometimes for artists, it's pretty hard, because if they switch genres over time, because they get new impressions to create new types of music, it doesn't fit in that box. And then for the music industry, it's strange. And sometimes the fans are kind of raving out and say, hey, this doesn't really fit into it. So, I think it's going to be exciting to see how just technology and algorithms will support that in a different way and help us broaden our view on the music that we're consuming.
Absolutely. I think that you are having a very valid point here, especially in terms of someone selecting these classes for you, because it's really limited to the person selecting it, which is often also talking out of a political perspective, maybe more just a person that is usually from a Western background. Usually it's a male person, and then this person will have some opinion about music, and it will not cover anything that is away from the horizon of the person. And I think this is also a really big strength of AI, because what we get is the data from all the world, basically, and we are not limited to one person that is choosing these. I think that is offering a lot more space also for something that would be considered niche now, which might not even be. It's because it's just out of the reach of the information that the person who chooses this is. And I think this could also, in the best case, lead to a more democratization of accessibility of music, and also recommendation of things that you might not have thought about before because you just didn't know that it exists.
Yeah, so the accessibility reminds me back in the days when I was still very idealistic and thought I can, get all the music in the world into my collection. And then you start to learn there is so much more out there in different countries. Not all songs are distributed and released in all countries. So it was an eye-opener that I never made it happen. But it's coming very close after even 30 years or 40 years being into the music space. And that's... very liberating to hear and to see, where you say we can get access to so much more music. And I'm thinking a bit further as well, where this would open up so much more things, that not only access to music, but any type of thing out there. It could be images, could be anything else that could be more available to people just by having a better discovery engine out there. So what are your things, your ideas about how the algorithms that you are using now for music discovery could be transferred into another industry?
I think as we are in the music industry quite a small piece, I think usually it's more us adapting to other fields. So in music information retrieval, which is like the term for the field that I'm working in, it is very typical to adapt from image algorithms, which is basically just a large, bigger market. And however, I think we have the advantage compared to them to already see what happened with the algorithms and how they are used, and what can also be the downsides of these. So I think for us, it's more like this a little chance, I would call it, to use it thoughtful, because as you might have come across, there has been big discussions about generative AI systems in terms of image, where of course artists claim that, okay, I do not know if my images that I produced and as my job have been used to train these models to generate other images and to basically replace us, because we are not used anymore as, I don't know, designers. If you can just get a design yourself, if you just type in a prompt, you do not have to pay this person, and it gets the person obsolete. And this is something that is definitely a big problem right now. I think in the AI space that these developments are just taking place so much faster than any kind of law can be made for it. And also, I mean, the same approaches are done in music, where you basically have the same problem. With music generated, AI generated music, I think we are not way further still in terms of quality and usability than that is the case in image. But it is still something that is developed and being done. And I would just hope for some more thoughtfulness in terms of this. I mean, it is something that, of course, it's not exactly the field that we are working in, because we are actually recommending music that is existing. And therefore, I would say we are basically supporting the artists by that, because the artists are in the end the ones that are found and being licensed. And I would hope for some, in terms of generative AI, to be not so much behind the idea of what is doable and more what should be done and what should not be done. And I think at least in the music field, we have this small advantage of being the smaller sibling of the image field that can maybe not do the mistakes so much that the older one has done.
These are nice thoughts. I think, yeah, that's very, very nice put, where you say, what can we do or what should we do, and just focus on what should we do, and then step by step together, technology and human being, and keeping that in balance. I think that's a nice thought of how we need to progress with all the generative AI, what is developing right now. Just as a last wrap up, we're talking about music already the last 30 minutes. What is your favorite band or music, Roman?
Oh, this is a very hard question to answer. And I guess I will not have the possibility to give a quite clear answer. I mean, I'm quite active in the electronic field with my label myself. And yeah, I mean, we talked about it in the introduction already, you coming from the Belgium scene from the 90s. This is something that definitely fascinated me quite much. Funnily, because I'm not saying this to be nice now. It's just something that I really was very excited about hearing. And building up from that, I think there's a lot of very interesting electronic music going on right now, especially in Berlin. We're quite at a good place for that. But I wouldn't limit myself to this. I really enjoy jazz, classical music as well. Also, some rock music, I don't know. It's very nice, actually, also there to have the possibility to work so closely with music, because I do have to listen to a lot of music during my job, which is also sometimes a little challenging, because it might not be the one that you like very much. But I did have the chance to find quite much through this also, which wouldn't have maybe kept my attention before. And therefore, I wouldn't say I like everything, but as more as I actually worked with music, the more I realized that there's a lot of different things that can be very appealing.
Yeah, very broad music taste, if I understand. Roman, online, or how can people reach out to you if they want to know more about the cataloging and the tagging of their music catalog, suggestions, and so on? Your credentials, your website is cyanite.ai, if I recall, but other ways that people best reach out to you?
Yeah, I mean, you can directly reach out through email if you have specific question, of course. It is roman@cyanite.ai. You can also link that, of course, in the description. I think that is probably the easiest way to directly reach out through there. And of course, we are also present in all professional platforms. If you have your favorite one, then feel free also to reach out there. And me and also the rest of the team are very open and happy to answer any question.
Roman, it was nice talking to you. Thanks for your time and exchanging some thoughts about data, AI, and music. Thanks for coming to the show.
Thanks, Eve. It was a pleasure for me.